Every man is fighting two wars, one outside against the world and one inside against his own thoughts. And here's the part most men never understand. The war inside decides the war outside. Your thoughts shape your reality. Your mind builds your world. Think weak and you'll act weak. Think broke and you'll live broke. Think small and you'll die small. But when your mind is set on power, when your thoughts lock onto greatness, when you see yourself as unstoppable, the world has no choice but to bend to that vision. Your mind is the general of your life. It commands your actions. It sets your standards. It creates your destiny. The man who loses in his head has already lost in the world. But the man who conquers his mind, he becomes unshakable, unstoppable, untouchable. Because at the end of the day, you are exactly what you think about. Small thinking chains you. The deadliest prison in the world doesn't have bars. It doesn't have guards. It doesn't even exist on a map. It's inside your mind. And the chains that lock you down, they aren't steel. They aren't heavy metal. They're small thoughts. Every time you whisper to yourself, I can't. It's too hard. I'm not like them. You're not just speaking weakness. You're forging shackles. You're binding your own wrists. You're locking yourself in a cage you built with your own hands. And here's the truth men don't want to admit. It's not the world holding you back. It's not the system. It's not your parents, your boss, or your past. It's you, your thinking, your limits, your refusal to rise above the weak voice in your head. That's the enemy, not life, not fate, not other people. Your own small thinking is the executioner of your potential. And the worst part, it feels safe, it feels logical, it feels responsible. That's why most men never fight it. They chain themselves and call it realism. They cage themselves and call it being practical. But let me tell you something blunt, man to man. That voice of limitation, that's not realism, that's not intelligence, that's not protecting you, that's fear, that's comfort. That's weakness trying to keep you tame. Small thinking is the silent killer. It takes men who could have been warriors, kings, leaders, and it turns them into shadows. It murders potential before it ever breathes. It keeps lions living like sheep. It keeps men with crowns in their blood living like beggars on the street. Now think about the men you admire, the ones who conquered, the ones who lead, the ones who stand taller than everyone else. Do you think they never had doubts? Of course they did. Do you think they never felt fear? Of course they did. The difference is they didn't let small thinking chain them. They refused the prison. They rebelled against the weakness inside their own skull. And that rebellion is what built their empire. But here's the hard truth. Most men never rebel. They'll live their whole life in chains. Invisible chains they wrapped around themselves. They'll die never knowing the man they could have been. Not because they weren't strong enough, not because they weren't talented enough, but because they never had the guts to think bigger. They chose safety over strength, comfort over conquest, excuses over execution. And when the end comes, regret will eat them alive. But you don't have to be one of them. You've got the same choice every king had before he rose. Stay in the prison or burn it down. You can keep telling yourself the same story, that you're not ready, not worthy, not capable, and you'll live out the rest of your days in chains. Or you can decide right now to kill small thinking before it kills you. Because here's the reality. No one is coming to save you. No one's showing up with the key. No one's handing you the crown. It's on you. It's always been on you. The bars, they're in your head. The key, it's in your hands. And the moment you stop thinking small, the moment you demand more from yourself, the moment you start thinking like a king instead of a prisoner, that's the moment your life changes. Because life doesn't punish you with mediocrity. It simply gives you what you demand. If you demand scraps, you'll eat scraps. If you demand more, if you demand greatness, if you demand the crown, life bends to that demand. So here's my question to you. Are you going to stay small, or are you going to rise? Are you going to die in chains, or are you going to rip them apart and build the empire that was always inside you? Don't tell me what you wish for. Don't tell me what you hope for. Tell me what you're willing to fight for. Because kings aren't crowned by chance. They're crowned by choice, by blood, by sacrifice, by refusing to think small for even 1 second. So choose right here, right now. Stay a prisoner of small thoughts, or become the man you were born to be. The world is waiting. The crown is waiting. And the only thing standing in your way is the size of your thinking. Break free or stay chained. The choice is yours. Big thinking forces you to grow. When you decide to think big, you're declaring war. War against weakness. War against mediocrity. War against every excuse that has ever kept you small. See, small thinking is safe. It's comfortable, it's predictable, and that's why most men live their entire lives inside the prison of small dreams. They think just big enough to survive, never big enough to thrive. They chase security, never greatness. They build lives that keep them fed, but never lives that keep them fulfilled. They die at 25 and get buried at 75 because they stopped dreaming the moment it required courage. But you don't have that luxury. If you've got even a spark of ambition in your blood, you cannot settle for small, because small will eat at you. It will rot you from the inside out. It will leave you looking in the mirror one day, wondering what kind of man you could have become. If only you dared to think bigger. Big thinking doesn't give you permission to stay soft. It rips you out of your comfort zone and throws you into the fire. It demands you build yourself into a weapon. A massive vision will test you. It will humiliate you. It will crush you at times, but it will also sharpen you like a blade. Every champion you admire, they started with a vision too big for their current self. That vision forced them to grow. That vision broke them down and rebuilt them. That vision turned ordinary men into unstoppable forces. That's the gift of big thinking. It makes you earn your own respect. Because when you set a target so high it feels impossible, you force yourself to transform into the kind of man who can hit it. And the truth is this: a small dream asks nothing of you. A big dream asks for everything. It will demand your time. It will demand your energy. It will demand your discipline, your focus, your grit. And in the process, it will take the soft, distracted, comfort-chasing version of you and kill him off. Do you want to know why most men avoid it? Because deep down, they don't want to face themselves. They don't want to face the pressure. They don't want to feel the weight of responsibility. So they run back to small thinking, where the stakes are low, where failure doesn't sting, where life is safe. But safety is a slow death, and a man who thinks small is already dying. The man who thinks big, though, he's alive. He's dangerous. He's moving forward when everyone else is standing still. Big thinking stretches your capacity. It forces you to build skills you don't yet have. It demands courage you haven't yet discovered. It makes you dig into a level of focus and hunger that most men will never touch in their lifetime. And here's what you need to understand. Your reality will always rise or fall to match the size of your thoughts. Think like a victim? You'll live like a victim. Think like a coward, you'll live a coward's life. Think small, you'll always play beneath your potential. But when you think massive, when you let yourself see a vision that terrifies you, you create pressure. And pressure is what builds greatness. Pressure turns boys into men. Pressure turns men into warriors. Pressure turns warriors into legends. So ask yourself, do you want to stay small, safe, invisible? Or do you want to build a vision so massive it forces you to become the man you were always meant to be, because that's the choice? Small thinking will make you comfortable, but comfort will bury you alive. Big thinking will break you, test you, bleed you, but in the end, it will crown you. And every scar you earn along the way will be proof that you refuse to settle. So think bigger. Dream so massive it scares you. Set a vision that makes your stomach churn, your palms sweat, your heart race, and then rise to meet it. Because in the end, it's not about the dream itself. It's about the man you must become in the pursuit of it. Guard your mental territory. Listen closely. Your mind is the most valuable piece of real estate you will ever own. And every day, every hour, every second, something is trying to invade it. Distraction, fear, doubt, excuses, weakness. They knock at the door, they slip through the cracks, they disguise themselves as comfort, as rest, as taking it easy, but they are not harmless. They are assassins, silent killers. And if you allow them to plant even a single seed inside your head, they will grow into chains that shackle your life. Understand this, your mind is a battlefield, and in this battlefield every thought is either a soldier fighting for you or a traitor plotting your downfall. Feed your mind weakness, and you will collapse under pressure. Feed it fear, and you will bow before men who should have been beneath you. Feed it excuses, and you'll live a life of regret. But feed your mind strength, discipline, and iron belief, and you become unstoppable. The sad truth? Most men are already conquered, not by enemies outside, but by enemies inside. They hand over their mental territory every morning the second they wake up. They open their phone, drown in noise, and give strangers more power over their mindset than they give themselves. By noon, they're defeated. By night, they're drained. And the cycle repeats day after day. They are not living. They are prisoners of their own unguarded minds. But not you, not anymore. You will guard your mental territory like a fortress. You will stand watch like a soldier at war, and you will not let weakness pass through your gates. Every thought that enters your head must be tested. Does this thought make me stronger, sharper, harder, more dangerous? Or does this thought soften me, weaken me, strip me of my fire? If it weakens you, destroy it. If it strengthens you, keep it. As simple as that. This is not a suggestion. This is survival. Because if you don't take command of your mind, the world will. And the world does not want you powerful. It wants you distracted, addicted, obedient. It wants you comfortable enough to never fight back and numb enough to never rise higher. It wants you average, but you are not average. You were not designed to crawl. You were built to climb, to fight, to dominate. Guarding your mental territory is not about positive thinking. It's about becoming unshakable. It's about being so mentally armored that when life hits you, and it will, you don't break, you don't fold, you don't retreat. You advance. Because life is not fair. Life will test you. Life will try to crush you. And the man with a weak mind will collapse. But the man with a fortified mind, he grows sharper under pressure, stronger under fire, more dangerous with every challenge. That man is you. So what do? You sharpen your focus daily. You attack your excuses before they can even speak. You turn your doubt into fuel. You turn your fear into fire, and you let discipline rule your life like a king rules his empire. This is what separates the average from the exceptional. The weak man waits for motivation. The strong man commands his thoughts, commands his actions, and creates motivation out of sheer will. The weak man lets his mind bully him into submission. The strong man bullies his mind into obedience. Never forget, your body follows your mind. Your habits follow your mind. Your results follow your mind. Your destiny follows your mind. So guard your mental territory with everything you have. Stand tall, stand sharp, stand ruthless. Because the man who owns his mind owns his world. Command your thoughts. Command your discipline. Command your future. And let every man who meets you know this is not someone who can be broken. This is not someone who can be conquered. This is a man who rules himself, and because of that, rules everything around him. Mediocrity is a choice. Let's get one thing straight. You are not mediocre because you had to be. You are mediocre because you chose it. Nobody forced you to play small. Nobody chained your hands, silenced your ambition, or buried your fire. You did that. You bought into the lie that average is acceptable. You traded your edge for comfort. You allowed yourself to be softened by routine, weakened by excuses, and tamed by fear. Mediocrity is not a prison. It's a decision. It's not forced on you. It's accepted by you. Every time you lower your standards, you sign a contract with weakness. Every time you let doubt take root, you water the seed of failure. Every time you settle for good enough, you declare war against your own potential. And the truth? Most men today are lions who've been living like house cats. A lion in the wild hunts, kills, conquers, dominates. A lion in a cage paces, waits for scraps, and forgets his own roar. That's the modern man. Not because he lacks strength, not because he lacks power, but because he's been caged by his own thoughts. He's been told to play it safe, to be realistic, to not want too much, to not stand out, and he obeyed. He traded his claws for comfort. He traded his roar for silence. He traded the hunt for scraps. But here's what nobody tells you. Even a caged lion never loses his DNA. His blood still burns. His instincts still roar. His hunger never really dies. And neither does yours. Deep down, you know you were built for more. You know you were meant to rise. You know average doesn't fit you. It suffocates you. You feel it when you wake up and look in the mirror. You feel it when you see weaker men living stronger lives. You feel it when your gut twists at the thought of dying without ever becoming who you were meant to be. That's not doubt. That's your soul demanding you to stop living small. Here's the cold truth. You don't need permission. You don't need approval. You don't need a handout, a shortcut, or a savior. You need one thing, a decision to rise, a decision to sharpen your edge, a decision to think like a predator again, because greatness is not complicated, it's not mysterious, it's not reserved for the chosen few. It's built by men who refuse to settle. It's built by men who choose pain over comfort, risk over safety, discipline over laziness. It's built by men who reject the easy path because they know the hard path is where power lives. Average men fear the storm. Great men become the storm. Average men wait for opportunities. Great men create them. Average men beg for freedom. Great men take it. You can keep playing small. You can keep bowing to fear. You can keep living like a house cat, safe in the cage, fed on scraps, forgotten by history. Or you can wake up, you can sharpen your claws, you can tear the cage apart and step back into the wild where you belong. But understand this, greatness will demand everything from you. It will strip you bare, test your resolve, and break the man you are. So the man you were meant to be can rise from the ashes. And that's the point. A warrior isn't born in comfort, he's forged in fire. A king isn't crowned in safety, he's crowned in conquest. You were not put on this earth to play small. You were not built to be ordinary. You were built for power, purpose, and dominance. The battlefield is your mind. Your thoughts are your weapons. Your choices are your destiny. So ask yourself, will you continue thinking like prey, or will you remember you were born a predator? Will you die as another nameless, faceless man lost in the herd, or will you rise as a force that history can't ignore? Mediocrity is a choice. Greatness is also a choice. And your time to choose is now. Not tomorrow, not someday, but now. Every second you waste in the cage is another second you'll never get back. Every excuse you make is another nail in the coffin of your potential. Every moment you choose average is another moment you betray the greatness inside you. One day, the clock will run out. And when you face yourself in that final moment, you will either smile like a warrior who lived fully or die with the bitter taste of regret. The choice is yours. Stay average, stay tame, stay caged, or rise, fight, conquer. But remember this, a lion can act like a house cat his entire life, but deep down, he will always know he was meant for the hunt. And so will you. In the end, your mind is the architect of your life. What you think about daily is what you're building. If your thoughts are weak, your results will be weak. If your thoughts are powerful, your life will be powerful. So protect your mindset. Feed it with focus, with vision, with belief. Because sooner or later, what's in your head will show up in your reality. If this spoke to you, hit that like button, subscribe for more daily motivation, and comment "I think bigger" to prove you watched till the very end. Remember, change your thoughts and you'll change your world. See you in the next one.